But it's okay. That's the whole point of this. It's
that's
bullshitting
true.
anyways. But like I said, the whole setup with this is this PA system right here.
Okay.
Because that actually has just one USB output.
Okay.
And that PlayStation recognizes it as a mic. Just a regular mic.
Really?
So I can put anything on there. I could put my laptop on there to play music. I could put my guitar on there. 3 other mics.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that's like a little cheat thing that I love how they invented that. All it is just USB powered that makes the PlayStation recognize it as a mic.
Huh. Yeah, I may have to get with you later on that, so I need to write that down. But
Get some ideas and stuff.
Numerous ideas.
Dude,
All right.
so right now the PlayStation is this little mirrored image. With the board, we can change it so all our fans know exactly what we're seeing.
Oh,
we know what's going on.
Wait, flip it back.
Dude.
Flip it back. Oh.
Take backs and forth.
Oh, are you serious?
Just play with that.
Oh, that is so cold. That is so cold.
Because, I mean, usually it's a mirrored image when you do actual recordings and people are like, oh, well, your TV's backwards, or I can't even, yours says, Lul Dead or whatever.
But yeah, and then you're like, no, this is what it looks like.
Dude.
Oh, that's so cool.
Everybody, thank you for joining. This is MuseMe TV. We're here rocking out today. This is actually an early podcast.
This is like one of the earliest podcasts I've ever done.
Really?
So,
Same here. Like we usually do something during the midday or late nights.
But you got that show tonight.
Yeah, I had a couple shows tonight, and I actually had a podcast scheduled after yours, but he kind of flaked on me.
Oh, for real?
So that's what I was saying too. Is like it's okay if you come at 11.
Yeah.
But dude, you're here, Royal Wood.
Hey, what up? I'm over here with Angel Lopez.
What is going on?
I had to make sure my P's were cool. All right. Dude, first of all, thank you for having me. Like, this is a little dope ass studio, man. Like, yo, you got like background music and stuff?
I was wondering why it wasn't working, but I had it on mute.
Oh, okay.
That's retarded. But give it up for Royal, everybody. Royal's here.
Royal's
in the studio.
I am in the studio. I am in the building. Thank you once again for having me. And first of all, your Hey Arnold tablecloth. I just watched the Hey Arnold the Jungle movie on Netflix. Yeah, it closed my childhood, if you will.
Really?
Yes, and it did.
See that? I have to see that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that first Hey Arnold movie. I mean, it was cool, but this was like the movie that I feel like us as adults needed to watch.
Okay.
To be like, okay, so whatever happened? It's like the cliffhanger at the end of Hey Arnold. You know, so it pretty much for me it put everything in a bow. So.
Spoiler alerts, guys, just in case. But
there's no spoilers, but it's a good movie, so it's on Netflix.
Okay, we'll have to check it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
because I mean, I've been a Hey Arnold fan since the beginning.
It was a cold ass concept. This random ass kid just helping out everybody,
right?
Yeah,
and it was like an inner city project thing where it's just hanging out.
PS 118,
dude. Oh, dude, that was so sick. So that was fun. I loved it. Hey Arnold is a whole bunch of Nickelodeon shows in the beginning. I feel really popped. Like you can,
like what's it called?
Cat Dog was amazing.
Cat Dog was my jump off. No, Recess was Disney.
Yeah, Disney. That is a Disney show. But I never even saw that on Disney. I actually saw that on like fucking those local channels, you know, like My 50 TV.
Like shit. ABC and shit? Yeah, like on like Saturdays and shit.
Yeah. So
okay.
that's where those came out. And then you end up finding out that, oh my God, it's owned by Disney. Like, the older I get, the more I find out that fucking Disney owns the world.
I mean, I was just watching The Simpsons whenever he was getting ready, and that shit's owned by Disney too now.
Right.
So,
and they made a joke about it too. Do you remember the Simpsons movie?
I remember they did like the Harry Plopper. They did the Spider Pig.
The Spider Pig. And there was this one scene where Bart comes out with his Mickey Mouse hat, and he's just like, "Hey, I'm an evil corporation that's intent to rule the world."
And then
this is what happens. So that's weird how that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's money though. It's an almighty dollar, but that's neither here nor there. So, how you been, man?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm just hanging out. This is my life, dude. Yeah, I mean, you really don't know a lot about me.
This is true. Like how long you been doing stand-up for now?
Stand-up is this will be my three and a half months now.
Okay.
3.5 months. I actually started October 1st.
Okay.
And it was the first mic at Boise Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was with Tito's. Cool little vibe experience. But I mean, I bombed.
Well, that's what normally happens your first time. Like My main deal is like making sure that you feel comfortable on stage. Like the first couple times, you're just trying to figure out your bearing and everything. And so once you feel like who you are as a person on stage, that's when the jokes come after. That's when like people start like, realize like, oh, okay, this dude's funny. Oh, okay, this is what goes on in this dude's head. So the first couple times are just like, but like as long as you keep working at it, then I mean, the only thing you can be is better.
And do people really find their voice right away, or is it really a learning process?
Oh, it's definitely a learning process. I had to figure out who I was. Like, to be honest, I still am. Like I feel like I'm getting to the cusp of me being able to settle in and just be like, all right, cool. This is just who I am. Like but it's taken me a long way. You know, like I used to, as like Kevin Baca, Nick Starr, or like Holly, I used to be like this loud, crazy, like this out there. And so I feel personally, I dialed that back just because it's like, okay, is that the royalty you still want to be? Because I started doing stand-up around like 25, 26. And, it was like one of those, like, I had still, like, that rambunctious, just, like, wide-eyed puppy tail feeling. And then now, just, working and then just going through life, like, I've been like, more, like, mature about the stuff that I do. So it's weird how I say that, but then I remember, like, a lot of times I'm at the open mics and stuff. I'm loud, but there's a purpose. Now it's like focus.
Well, I get what you're saying too, especially when you're hosting. There are those rambunctious times where everyone's riled up or is not really paying attention. So, hi, and it gets their attention. I see it. I mean, it works.
It's just crowd control. And then I know since you're going to be hosting next Thursday, that's something that I would say just making sure that the audience is focused on stage. It may not be focused on you, but make sure it's focused on stage. Yeah. And so make sure it be focused on stage for the next comedian, the first comedian, so.
And that's kind of it's kind of weird to think about too, because I have a few ideas.
Right.
You want? Can I pitch them to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's your fucking podcast.
Some ideas that I was thinking for the open mic were to like, I wanted to do kind of character changes.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know what cosplay is.
Okay, you're speaking of Royal Wood. Of course I know. Like, on my Facebook, I'm dressed up as classic Luke Cage. So, I mean...
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of costumes. I have a bunch of things that I think I can bring to the table that are just going to be funny. I don't have to, like, play the character or anything, but I could just go up there and be like, all right, guys.
But like, you're you, but just in the costume.
Yeah, and just be like, hey, guys, what's up? Are you guys ready for the next comedian? Because I know I am.
Now, quick question. How quick are your costume changes?
They're pretty quick. I mean, I don't know what I'm thinking to do yet, but most of them are pretty quick. It's just like a wig change or something. Something simple. Wig with a shirt or something. Something like that.
The only reason why I asked that is because to be able to do that, like, to do that to a T, a costume change, you just got to make sure you know how much time you have in between each comic, and then know for like kind of like feel like comics, like there's some comics who tend to go a little bit long in the tooth. Other comics, they go a little bit under their time. Both happen,
Does it even happen on like a show that you're supposed to have a designated time? Okay.
It's happened numerous times where people have gone over their time, people have gone under their time, but well, in your situation, I would say being able to get something to where that you could do within like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Like you do like a costume change in 3 minutes. That's feasible. If it's just like a wig or a shirt change, whatever. I've done that sometimes. Like I've done like, okay, I hosted in this shirt and then I came back and I'm in a different shirt and I came back and I'm in a different shirt. That's like Nick Starry. He actually grabbed other people's shirts and started putting on other people's shirts. And so, like, he looked bigger than what he actually was in his shirts. But it's possible. You just got to know. It's a whole timing deal.
Okay.
It's timing and making sure that you're prepped. So, like, okay, it's like, I'm going to wear this one at that one. I'm going to wear this one after this comic and this one after this comic and this one after this comic. So you don't have to think about it. You can just grab, go, change, come back, host, wash, rinse, repeat. So
simple movements, just easy. I get what you're saying.
Unless you're gonna like wear all the shirts, which would it'd be like a funny reveal because you're just taking off these shirts and shit, and everybody's like, why the fuck and then the shirt that you want to wear at the end, that's what you wear. But
yeah, right.
But honestly, yeah, that's creative right there. You know, just being able to be like you're saying, you're just changing up, but you're still being new. So.
Yeah. Something that makes it seem like, oh, well, it's still entertaining too, because they'll expect something for the next, you know, oh, he's probably going to come back and do something different. So that should be cool to see too. Yeah. Because I kind of like to see the host in itself too, kind of entertain the crowd in itself too.
Well, like we were talking about before, sometimes like you can end the audience, like the comic before just
crushes.
Just nice. And then the audience is already up here, so you don't have to do anything. The only thing you have to do is just pass the baton over to the next comedian. So there's that. There's no need to have a lull, whatnot, in between, like that energy. Like we were talking about the wave. So, but sometimes when comics don't do as well, and then the audience is still at that lull, that's where you can pick it up. That's where you could try out, like, I wouldn't really say just try out new things unless you're very comfortable with them. Okay. Unless you feel like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be 100% behind this. Because a lot of times it can work and a lot of times it could not work. But you would just have to feel out the night, the audience, and the confidence of the joke itself. So just like waves and shit.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you kind of see it too, doing open mics every night. You see like, this joke hit last night. Why didn't it do anything? And it's just like, well, it was kind of playing off of the crowd. Yeah. Sometimes just the energy wasn't the same.
Yeah, it's sometimes like that's the reason why I love open mics, just because you're not going to get the same people every time. And if you are, that means you're doing something right. That means people are knowing you, your jokes, your face, you know, just who you are, if they're coming back to see your stuff.
Okay.
So that makes sense. I mean, it's a simple, it's a hometown fan base, if you will. It's just like, okay, well, they see me working, you know, they see me out here, and yeah, there may be like 20 people in the audience, there may be 2 people in the audience, whatever the case may be. It's still just the fact of putting on a good show.
Okay.
And then I know for a fact that like I'm still kind of new at this. Like I've only been running like my own shows for about like maybe like 3 years.
Okay.
So as like I'm still learning as I go.
I like how you have a bunch of them though, because that's the same kind of thing as doing open mics every night too. It's like hosting them is just making you a little bit better each time.
And honestly, I would hope that would be the case. But I know there's some nights where I'm just, to be honest, dog shit. Like nothing's hitting. Like the audience is looking at me like, "Oh, you're the host. Oh, you're the host." Like no. Like we want the people that are going to be funny. But at the same time, though, I don't see myself as like it being an MC. Yes, I'm the facilitator of people being funny. I just need to make sure that the people that are going to be funny are on that stage. You know, taking them on and off. You know. Not my job isn't to be the funniest one, but if that happens, I'm not going to be like, oh no, I'm the funniest one tonight.
The intention,
yeah. I know people who are like, oh damn, like Josh was funny. Oh, like Holly was funny. Oh, Robert Eister, like you know, like I know people who come up to me and say those names, and I know for a fact like I'm putting the right people on those stage. I don't need to be the funniest one as long as I know for a fact people are coming back.
Yeah.
If people are coming back, that means, okay, the last show made an impression on them, so they want to see more, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially hosting jobs like showcases and stuff, you want to make sure that it's like you're not only just putting good comics on there, but you're making sure that it's entertaining to the people because they're here to spend money.
Yeah.
That's always the biggest thing, too.
A showcase that is pretty much on hiatus right now is Royals Comedy Palace. We did three shows, and then we took November and December off. We're coming back in January. With that show, like honestly, that I take a lot of people from the open mics and put that show on just because of the fact that it's a show that I see working. You know, like I see like just hustling, just like at the mics. You know, just paying attention, like, you know, staying after, you know, like trying to figure out what they can learn and stuff like that. And that's the shit that I see, and that's the shit that I put on my shows. You know, that's just how I feel. I know for a fact you're going to be on one of them, like coming up pretty soon. If anything, also doing guest spots as well, you know, because the people that are at the open mics, like every time that's that opportunity. And I love being able to give that opportunity out to the people who are working hard.
Yeah.
So.
And you kind of can tell too, like, if you do go to the open mics all the time, it's just like practice of anything. Like anything is practice. If you really want to do it, you'll do it, and you'll practice at it. It's like I love just throwing that frame of mind in my guitar because I sucked when I first started.
Like, as a matter of fact, whenever I came in and I saw your chords and stuff, I was like, no, this dude practices, like he said, like the B chord and like the D chord and stuff like that, and where the threads are and stuff. And and I don't even play guitar, but I know guitar parts, and I'm just like, yo, it's like being able to just articulately, so that is a practice. You practice being able to do that, just like we practice telling our jokes. I don't. Like, back to where it was like 20 or 2, like 20 people or 2 people. If you can't even make 2 people laugh, then it's like, why? Like, why put you on a platform to where it's like, I'm going to have 100 people laugh. Okay. And then there's going to be 100 people not laughing. So it's just like, oh, dang. I'd rather know for a fact that we could make, perfect example, Founders. How Founders kind of like, it's a smaller room. It's a smaller room. But if you're able to make those people laugh in that room, which you've had before, then yes, that's what I need to be on that stage.
Okay. And you can tell just by reflection of a little stage, right? You're like, well, he doesn't, if you can see it on a little stage, you can just probably see it on a bigger stage too.
Oh, yeah. And then just the work behind it too. So that's honestly what I look at.
How is speaking of going into why comedy and stuff, like, how is a writing process for you when it comes to comedy? Because, like, I don't know, it's kind of, it's so weird. Like you said, you even came up with a bit doing like the Bit Bandit.
Yeah, Bit Bandits, yeah. So, which actually you're on tonight too. Shout out to Sarah and Sarah Kennedy, Kevin Baca, over at the Thirsty Eye.
That's where it's at.
Thirsty Eye. And then the what's called that headliner show, headlining with Robert Eister tonight too. What's it called? My writing process is just depends. Sometimes there's situations where I'm like, okay, I can see that being a joke, and then there's other situations like, wow, that's funny, but not joke wise funny. And then there's times I'll just sit in my room and I'll pace. To be perfectly honest, I'll pace. I'll think of an idea, and then I'll just brainstorm more and more off of that idea. And then I'll just branch it off and try to make it funny first to me. Because if I don't even feel that it's funny, then why am I telling it on stage?
Okay.
If I don't even feel it's funny, why would I try to convince other people it's funny as well?
You have to be real with your own joke. I mean, I can see that.
Yes. You can take real parts. You can embellish a little bit for like that flair. Like, there's sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that wouldn't have happened. As long as you feel relatable and as long as you feel your joke, then that's how I see it. Okay. But just a lot of brainstorming, just a lot of spider webbing, if you will, of like from a central point, like where can I go and like what's the funniest route to take. So
especially when the crowd kind of interacts and stuff too, like, oh, that's funny, maybe I can work off of that.
And then a lot of my jokes, I like to be. I am a black dude who does stand-up comedy. Would I consider myself a black comic? Yeah, I consider myself a black comic, but I also like my jokes to be relatable to, doesn't matter if it's black comedy, black audiences, white audiences, like young audiences, old, gay, straight, whatever.
Right away, you throw people, well, you throw me off right away when you just start joking on anime and start joking on like nostalgic shit like that, and just like, whoa, you wouldn't expect that from Royal.
Well, here's the thing, like at first glance, yes. Like a lot of people would not expect that. Like here's my deal. Like I'm one of the biggest comic book nerds out there. Like right now, I'm excited for next year for that Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out on like Disney Plus and shit. That's gonna be my jump off because so my top for like DC and Marvel would be Luke Cage and the Falcon, and then for DC it'd be Cyborg and Nightwing.
Okay.
Nightwing's my dude. On the third for DC would be Plastic Man. For third for Marvel side, it'd be Iron Fist.
Iron Fist?
Yeah. I don't.
A lot of those side characters too.
Yeah.
Well, see, they're not side characters.
They're not. They're not. They were able to make them into like from B characters to A characters. You know. So
because even in the comic books, they actually do play some big roles, and that's what's funny about how they're portrayed in like the show or the movies. It's just like, oh, okay, this didn't really happen, but you know, they're interpreting it their way.
Yeah. I really like what they did with the movies. My homeboy Joe Miles, he is a huge fan of the Falcon, and when I say that, he's probably like, "Nah, I hate the Falcon." But
I'm not into it.
But I mean, I liked what they did, and so I like where they're about to go.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty sick. I mean, he's gonna be the next Captain America.
I have so many expectations for this next thing that they're about to do, but I feel like I got super off a track. But
well, that's the point of the podcast. We're here just to fucking riff, rant, and do whatever. Yeah. You know what is funny? Have you ever seen Black Mirror?
Are you talking about that one episode?
Yeah, where he goes with his friend and stuff. Like, after seeing that actor is now just like, oh, well, I mean, you're not manly anymore.
Look, no, honestly, it's just like that was a role. Like Will Smith. Will Smith played a gay dude in, I believe, 6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah,
it's like an old school movie. And he got like praise for that movie. You know, so it's like,
well, even what's his name, the guy Rami Malkai or whatever. That
yeah. You played the Queen dude.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Yeah, so I mean,
I just love making fun of it. It's so hilarious. There has to be something with that. Like, I don't know. Black Mirror is just like so mind blowing.
Man, okay, so here's what happened. Me and my homegirl, we was hanging out, and she was like, "Have you seen Black Mirror?" I was like, "Nah."
Oh shit, that's how it starts.
Bruh, she put in that first episode of that first season
with the guy with the politician, right?
The politician and the pig.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw that laptop out the window. I was like, nah. And then like the ending of that, it was just like, ooh. But and then I started watching a couple other ones. I'm like, all right, that's not bad. You know, it was like the first one was like a shocking one, but then it's just like talking about technology and like how it fit into our world and everything. Yeah. So it was not bad. It's never a bad show. So
that's cool.
Did you watch the Bandersnatch though?
Yeah. That was cool. The interaction stuff. It was cool. I mean, I don't remember how many possibilities there were of endings and stuff, but
I think there was only like 5.
There's only 5? Okay.
Actually, after I watched it a couple of times, I got a couple endings. What I did is I went on Wikipedia and I checked out the endings, and I think there's like 5 of them. And then there's one where the little girl grows up and she becomes like a computer programmer too. It's like a whole bunch of ones. So
I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
because I think I've only did it like 3 times, and then it ended up doing the same ending twice. Ooh. Because you know how in between it kind of still rotates. I don't know, it's kind of cool. It was cool though. It just reminded me of those damn stupid Goosebumps books.
Oh, the Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah, where it's just like you want to do this, go to page 37. You want to do this, go to page 9.
That's okay. So one of my favorite game series of all time is Star Ocean. It's a space opera. It's pretty much Square Enix's Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever. They deal with uninhabited planets. They deal with phasers and stuff like that. But the reason why I like this game so much is that the choices you make can alter who you can have on your party.
Okay.
And so if you go this one route, you can be with this 3-eyed lady and she's trying to find her husband. Or if you go this other route, you can hang out with this exorcist who just so happens to have a pair of like dragon necks behind his back. And I'm talking about Star Ocean 2, not Star Ocean 1, just FYI. But still just the fact of being able to be like, okay, you can go this route or this route, had that old school nostalgic choose your own adventure type of deal, you know. So, but yeah, like that's what the Bandersnatch reminded me of. But then I realized I was adult because I started trying to like go back and forth. I just got tired.
You just didn't want to do it no more.
I got tired. I was like, all right, maybe, and I just conked out. So.
That was it.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. It's like Netflix pushes out way too much stuff. Like I can't watch everything on there. Like
you can't. Like here's the thing: you just got to narrow it down.
No, you can't.
You have to. You have to get to that central thing. Be like, okay, this is something I can binge on. This is something I can just be like, all right, cool. And then this is something for like if you hang out with somebody or somebody. Like right now, my only bingeable show that I'm trying to watch is Sonic X.
Okay.
Yeah, because they only have 4 seasons and then 30 minutes long. That's it.
Something that's doable. Even a few episodes a day.
Few episodes a day. Not that bad.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
But especially when you have like original content and stuff coming out. Like, I don't know. Have you ever seen Big Mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
They're coming out with another season.
Yeah, I think they did. I think did their 3rd season, but they were probably writing a 4th or something. Because it's a good show, so they've been getting a lot of just like renewals. I
saw online that somebody said that Big Mouth is just Nick Kroll talking to himself in a room. Because really, that's all that's happening. Because he does like
a lot of the voices,
like 75 to like 80% of the voices.
Yeah.
There's even I don't know if he was on Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, but it was him just going back and forth with all the characters.
Just talking to himself.
Just talking to himself. And I'm like, that's not bad. That is a good voice actor right there. Him and Keith David.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keith David.
Goliath from Gargoyles, The President, Rick and Morty, what's it called? Julius from Saints Row.
So you know a lot of voice actors.
I know
a few of them. More than me. I didn't know who that guy
I'm not gonna lie, it's mainly the black ones. Like him, Phil Lamar, because Phil Lamar did the Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. He also did Static.
Oh, okay.
He did Static. He did a couple other ones too, though. But yeah, Keith Dave, that's my dude. Like, so he has a very commanding voice too. Just like if Keith David would have just walked in right now and said, hey you guys, calm it down, I'd be like, all right.
Sorry. Yeah.
Like, my bad, Keith David. Like, that's how commanding that man's voice is. So like that's a dude that I'm gonna be upset if he goes. And then R.I.P. to one of the greats, John Witherspoon, granddad from what's it called? The Boondocks.
Okay, yeah.
When he passed, I was like, it was like at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I saw it and I was like, nah.
That's
like,
what so sucks now. It's like once you see it, you're like, holy shit, really? No, this isn't real.
Nah, dude. Okay. But then you have to scroll down just to see other people like, oh, this is a real thing.
Everybody's just posting it and stuff.
Yeah. And then, I mean, all right, this is going to seem heartless, but when a lot of people get super upset, like when like a super famous old person dies. And I'm like, they were old. They got to live all their life. Like, I'm cool with it.
Especially if they're famous.
Yeah.
They got to do a lot of cool shit.
Like, no, I mean, once again, no disrespect to the dead. We don't do that here. Like that dude who just passed away from Do the Right Thing. Like that old, he was like 86. And I'm like, damn, that's, like, respect to him. He did a good life. But people were hurt. They're like, dang, that was my dude. Yeah. And I'm like, but then again, there's going to be probably actors for like, our generation, because I feel like, we're close in generation to where like when they pass, we're going to be like, dang.
I say it'd probably be weird if like Adam Sandler dies.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Will Smith. Yeah. Because, like, Will Smith is, like, 50 now.
See, and that's weird to think about, too.
Exactly.
I mean, just getting older in general, especially our generation. I feel like our generation didn't really have the whole... we still have a youthfulness to our growing up stage.
Yeah.
Like, we know about responsibilities and making sure we have to take care of ourselves and stuff, but still more of a youthfulness. Like, again, like, I don't know how old you are. How old?
I'm 33.
Okay, see, yeah, dude, we're going to hit our 30s and we still wear T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, I'm wearing a knockoff Wu-Tang shirt. Shout out to Warehouse 508, by the way.
508. Woo, 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 woo.
But yes, trust me, I get it. Yours is Overwatch. I get that, And then I just got with the right. See, I'm picking up. Yeah. I'm picking up, dude. All right. And then because I saw that and I was like, I knew that, but
so how big of a gamer are you? Because I know you fuck around with a lot of classic stuff, but how recent are you?
To be perfectly honest, I rage quit Death Stranding.
Oh
yeah,
it was that intense.
Like it like a lot of people were like, "Oh, it was a really great game," and I'm like, "All right, let me try it." I got it on Redbox, and it was like one of those games I felt like you had to like devote time to, and I started to actually make sense of the memes that they were talking about whenever they had some dude like walking with a whole bunch of like pizza boxes and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because the game is really just a courier game. You're just depositing things left and right. There's a full story. I get that. I mean, it's made from the dude who made Metal Gear Solid and stuff. And those games were,
iconic,
they were like,
they're sick.
I know for a fact I've beaten Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 numerous times just to get that fucking headband. So like, but like, I felt like I just didn't have enough time to be able to sit there and be like, okay, well, let me get involved in the story and stuff. Like, there's a lot of features that was cool. Like, you could piss and stuff. You can like if somebody gave you like a good option to go, whatever.
Okay.
Where I rage quit was whenever I had a whole bunch of stuff, and you know how you get you scored on how well the products are or whatever, right?
Okay.
Well, I'm sitting there like, oh man, I could do this and run. And then that time fall happened and all the rain started coming down on my stuff and started eroding it. And as soon as I saw all the erosion on like all of my stuff, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, right. I can't use it.
I was pissed. So I ended up caving and I got Star Ocean. That was on. Now, here's the thing. The first Star Ocean, it was never really released in the United States. The first Star Ocean that was released in the United States was Star Ocean 2. Okay. So that was a game that I pretty much got hooked on.
So that was the one we were introduced to.
That was, yeah.
Overseas, they actually had a version before that.
And so that was on the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom system, if you want to be technical about it. But after, they did their ports and whatnot, and Star Ocean became a little bit more famous, and then Square acquired Enix. They wanted to keep that going. So after To the End of Time and the last Hope, that's when they started porting over Star Ocean 1 and 2 for the PSP. Because it was like you can do both. There was like a collection. There was like a Star Ocean 1 and Star Ocean 2 collection. And so then when they said they were going to release the first one for the PlayStation 4, I was like, oh, dope. And then when I saw the price, I was like, dope, because it was like only $20.
Okay, that's
so
sick.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny whenever like Square Enix now puts out like a game for nostalgia reasons. All they're trying to do is just fund the Final Fantasy VII remake. That's all they're trying to do.
We're just trying to get enough money.
They're just trying to get enough money to pay everybody. So they got a whole bunch of people in the cellar right now as we speak. They're still working on the game as we speak. Like the game will be done and on the presses. Like as soon as that one person's like, okay, that's when the game's like.
It's ready.
So, but as well as me, that game has been longly awaited.
Yeah,
longly awaited. I know there's oh, go ahead.
That hype, dude. Yeah, that hype.
It's the hype, and then it's just I like the fact that nobody actually knows what's going to happen. Like, as in, oh, is it going to be like one disc? Is it going to be two discs? Is it like going to be because. Spoiler alert, just go play the game. The game is out. I don't have to spoil anything for anybody. It's been out since 97. All right. So just.
The remake isn't going to ruin it.
It's not going to ruin anything. If anything, you're just going to get some more amped up 2020 shit. Whatever.
Graphics.
Yeah. Some graphics, some inventory stuff, whatever. But some new story stuff, whatever. But the game is still the same. From 1997. Honestly, want to know what I really hope they still have?
What is it?
That cross-dressing section. I'm telling you, in my Final Fantasy shitposting group, that's all we talk about. Is like, if they don't keep the cross-dressing, the game's a sham. The game is a fucking sham.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. Like, you know how football fans, they take off their jerseys and burn them and shit? Yeah. That's what people are going to do with this game. But there's no fucking cross-dressing.
They're just going to get, this wasn't worth buying.
It wasn't worth buying. It wasn't worth all like the special edition with the carbuncle for Flight Summon and the little metal tin case with Cloud. No. Fuck all that in the trash.
And that would be funny if it's only because people are, it needs to be more appealing to everybody else in today's generation.
Well, not even. Well, it wasn't even.
If they do it, like, if they get rid of it, then it's just like, oh, we can't have that because that's actually promoting, this kind of stuff.
Which would be, I'm sorry, that would be dumb because it's in the game before. And
that's the same of all kinds of stuff, though. Like, even certain Simpsons episodes, they don't
that's true.
no more.
The Michael Jackson one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Michael Jackson one. Simpsons episodes, or not Simpsons, South Park, where they actually showed an image of Muhammad.
Yeah. No, I remember that because they had that, it was like the Family Guy joke, but then they had, like, didn't they cut him out or whatever?
Yeah, they cut him out. But before then, like an episode, I think it was in like season 4 or whatever, Jesus had like a legion of friends called the Super Best Friends.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you actually got to see Muhammad in those episodes.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually visible. Oh. And that's why they're making fun of it throughout the rest of the season because, like, well, what the heck? We were able to show Muhammad before. Why is it censored now? And it was only because of the way politics and stuff work now. And that kind of sucks if it gets translated in a game sense as well. If they're like, well, we had this great feature that was in there, and we're like, oh, well.
Yeah, it was a part of the storyline. It was like you it wasn't like a side quest or anything. It was like people, they wrote that in there. Right. So
you're like a disguise or something, right?
Yeah, it was a disguise. It was like you had to get in there. You had to get into Don Corneo's little playhouse thing to figure out what happened to the people over in Sector 5. Well, no, not Sector 5, Sector 7. And so then he had to dress up as a girl. That's what happened.
That sounds like every 90s spy movie or something.
I'll put it like this. Good Burger, Bugs Bunny, like all of them. Yeah. Big Mama's House, Mrs. Doubtfire. Right. I'm telling you. But anyway,
times are changing, bro.
Yeah, I'm not upset about it.
No, you're not.
No.
There's some things that you don't think are upsetting about the way times have changed.
My main deal is that people are gonna be different. People are going to be different throughout time and space, and
it's going to change.
Yeah, like I may be super fucking different to somebody. Like they might look at me like I'm just the weirdest thing. But I want them to accept me for who I am.
That's
so, if anything, just accepting somebody back the same way. Like I know you're different than me. I'm different than you, but I accept you. That's what it is.
Yeah. Preach.
And that's how you make friends, guys.
Preach, brother, preach. But I get what you're saying, though, because, I mean, even in certain senses, this is what I love about politics in this sense, is that we're so divided with, like, the left and the right, the red and the blue and stuff. But yet, if you really go down to the principles of everything, there are people that have similarities, even if they are in two different camps. Like, even political wise or whatever, I mean, maybe you don't agree with guns, or maybe you don't agree with abortion, but in another sense, maybe you do agree with something that the left agrees with.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't like anymore, is how, like, divided we are, but yet mostly we're all centered.
We're all the same. We're all like, right now our backs hurt. Like right now I can throw, like, okay, I put it like this. If I had a map, right? If we had a map right now and a dartboard, and I was able to throw a dart at a place on the United States right now, I bet you wherever I threw that dart at, somebody in that town or city, their back hurts, like mine. So if anything, it may be something super simple, stupid as like that, or something big, like, just us being human.
Yeah.
We're all connected somehow.
That's very true.
It doesn't matter how big or how small, we are all connected. So it is weird that, like, especially in our State of the Union, if you will, like how people are divided and everything. It's like this is one of those times I wish that aliens would come down, like a Watchmen type of deal. Like, there's like Ozymandias, like somewhere just sitting there, just open up a portal. So we got a band together and stuff like that.
Like, we're all freaked out.
Yeah, we are all freaked out. And then we have an Earth Defense Force. Like, we don't have an Earth Defense Force right now because we're still fighting against each other.
Yeah, exactly. See, and that's maybe a reason why aliens don't visit us.
Oh yeah, they're all like, oh, what's that? Is that Earth? Nah, I'm cool, dog. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We can go get gas somewhere else. Like,
or we'll zip by, but we're not going to stop in this neighborhood. This neighborhood's fucked.
Look, just take a mental image and then just tell your friends later. Like, we don't have to stop here. So, Like, you know, they took Clyde. Clyde's over there in what that place they call Area 51. That's why you don't see Clyde no more. But nah, man, we are, and it sucks. It sucks. I wish we weren't. But I mean,
I kind of feel that's what I really like about comedy.
Comedy is one of those things that, first of all, I don't feel will ever die. As long as, like, you know, you're able to make somebody laugh, then comedy will always be alive.
Yeah, like, you know, a bunch of people said that they were getting upset and starting to, like, get a bunch of offensiveness, sensitive about things. And then just recently you see somebody like Dave Chappelle or somebody like Bill Burr throw out those specials where they're just, like, ripping on everybody. Because we're all the same. Like, why is he not going to make fun of somebody like you compared to somebody like me? Or he's not going to make fun of some gay guy compared to some homosexual woman? You know, there's so many different aspects of what we are similar in each other.
We are similar and we are different. And I think our differences, like, define us. It's just the fact of being able to just accept everybody's differences and just try to be better people. As long as we just try to, you don't even have to be like world changing, as in like, oh shoot, I created cold fusion or some perpetual energy. Just be a good person, just at least once a day. And then like, I mean, maybe bump it up to 2. If you got an energy for it. Right. But honestly, just as long as you're just, A, you're trying to be a good person, and B, you're trying to leave your mark on this world, that's, me personally, that's all I ask.
I hear you. Because that whole saying, you want to be treated how you would treat others, or the way you treated others. I mean, you don't want to be a douchebag.
Oh, yeah, that's the golden rule, baby. Come on now.
We all know that.
Yes, but I mean, sometimes we get a little caught up in the moment. And we just got to step back and be like, okay, was I right? Was I wrong? Like, there's been a lot of times I thought I was right, but ended up being wrong. So I'm an adult, and I have to admit that. So
you learn from your mistakes.
But you become a better person from it. That's the main deal. You become a better person.
Speaking of being a better person, how do you feel I don't know how religious of a person you are.
Okay.
But in this sense, do you feel that religion actually makes it to a sense where, I guess, I'm glad how it teaches you morals and values and how to be a good person and stuff.
Yeah.
But in a clouded kind of like ritualistic kind of way.
See, first of all, I have to explain what type of religious person I am. My religion, like, I was raised Baptist. I see myself as Christian. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of the great ones, like, you know, but I see that as my belief system, and I don't feel that I should push my belief system on anybody else to where is that, like, you're like, oh, you need to go to church, or you need Jesus Christ, you know, like stuff like that. Like, that's something that I feel that, like, you know, gets, like, you know, helps me to get through the day. So I'm not gonna be saying stuff like that. Now, the way about it, like, you know, like the text or whatnot, like, you know, I take it that you're talking about like Adam and Eve, like Cain and Abel. You're talking about like Moses,
stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I have a joke about that.
Oh yeah. But, like, no, I mean, I made a religious joke about like stuff like that too, but. To be perfectly honest, I can't tell you, because that's like me. I'm not saying blasphemy. Like, I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm not going to go ahead and say like, oh, well, you know, just hogwash, you know, why is this, like, question everything. I'm not trying to go blindly into faith. I just know for a fact that it's something that gets me through the day. It's like, okay, well, you know, just let me just be strong. Let me be strong but gentle, you know, stuff like that. Like the things like that. Like the stories like, and I know for a fact that's in every culture, you know, like Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, which is pretty much just all the same mythology, really.
Yeah, and that's what I love to say too. Is like, in a sense, learning religion and stuff is beneficial for being a good person. But when it comes to a sense of like something that has to be preached or like pushed upon somebody, is a little more like damning, or like kind of makes you feel like, is it really worth it, or is it kind of something that is really happening? Yeah. Especially, I mean, I don't know. Growing up, I kind of was in the same sense where I was kind of like a Christian. Yeah. And like growing up older, like science kind of scares you in a sense where you're just like, why would people believe this? Like, you know, in science terms, and then in religious sense, it's not the same. So there are things like that blow me away. And especially with little like scientific proofs of history that kind of throw me off too. Like, do you know the like mystery of like the Sphinx and the pyramids of Egypt?
Like how they didn't really, like how they got there, like why one doesn't have like a nose,
or like why it was even like they believe that the pyramids were there before the Egyptians. They're way before even the Egyptians were there. And if that was true, then that kind of rewrites a little bit of what we kind of think of humanity and history. With that, I mean, in me, I get blown away, and I'm just like, what the fuck do I think of now? Yeah. I don't know. I thought I was this little existence, and now it makes it even worse. Right. And how does that, like, in a sense, because growing up religious, I always loved the fact that I know what a good person is. I know how to be a good person. Right. But then growing up older, it's like, I don't have to be religious to be a good person. I don't have to be like, you know, very spiritual and stuff like that. You can be a good person being an atheist or agnostic. Yeah, I mean,
you could be a good person just by being a good person. You don't need any sense of form just to be a good person.
That's true.
To be perfectly honest, you can also want it. Like, I mean, if you want to be a bad person, you're more than welcome to be a bad person. We have free will. That's the craziest thing about this life. Like, we have free will to do whatever we want. It's just how we use it is what matters.
Nice. Okay. It blows me away.
I'm not trying to be Nostradamus or anything like that. This is just how it is.
No, and that's what I love about this podcast too. Is I always, these questions, these little things that I come up with are just to know how other people think and how they feel, because there's so many mind-blowing things out there that still I question every day. Like, here's another one. Being the age that you are with me, how do you feel about 9/11? Do you feel that was an actual inside job, or
like, it's so weird? It's like one of those like weirdest things ever. Like,
and that's just in our generation. Like that's something that happened to us, going down more in history. The Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, like that was in like our parents, like Dr. King.
Yeah, and, Pearl Harbor was all orchestrated to like get us into war and stuff. Like all of that, like
Vietnam. Fun fact: Pearl Harbor Day is the day I went into the military.
Oh, you were in the military?
Yeah, Air Force. Nice. That's pretty
shout out America.
Fuck yeah. I came into the Air Force December 7th, 2004. I was supposed to go to Maelstrom, Montana, but I ended up in good old land of enchantment, Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I was out here my whole time. Ended up going back home to Michigan for about like a couple of months. Nothing was happening. Came back over here, and then I've been back over here ever since. So
you're originally not from here?
Yeah.
Oh, you are from here?
No. I'm originally not from here.
You're originally not from here?
Yeah, I'm Monroe, Michigan, like southeast part. Like, I don't know. Am I gonna do it? You know what? Y'all just look up a map. And y'all got phones. Y'all probably looking at this on our phone right now.
We'll look it up right now. Why not?
Oh, for real? Oh, we can do this little snap. Monroe, Michigan. It's like a township. And so, like, it used to be, I forget what it used to be called. It used to be called Frenchtown, because a lot of, like, the Canadians and whatnot and, like, the Indians, like, they were up there already in the north. So
those French Canadians?
Yeah.
Those French Canadians.
Oh, snap. Yes, sir.
This is what's at. What's like a landmark or something that pops out about this place?
Okay, there's the Custer statue, because Monroe, Michigan is actually the home place of General Custer. So my elementary school was the Custer Cougars.
The Custard Cougars?
Yeah, the Custer Cougars. Yep.
That's actually pretty cool.
It was like a mile away from my house. I could walk there and everything, so it was pretty dope. But yeah, it's a quaint little town.
So okay. So you were in Michigan, joined the military, and then came here. And then what made you stay here? Is it really the land of entrapment?
The fucking place, I'm sorry, fucking place grows on you. And then, okay, so for me, I felt like I established myself here as in, like, as a person. Like, the connections I made with people, like, you know, like, the experiences I've had, like, I honestly, I was able to make those, like, you know, a lot of times by myself, you know, like me going into stand-up, you know, me acting or just me just making friends in general, you know, being away from home, you know, so like I became my own person here. So like this has been home for me, you know, so like, I mean, I'll go back to like Michigan or Ohio because my mom lives in Ohio, my dad's in Michigan. You know, I see everybody and stuff, but it's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to go back, you know, so this is where I reside. Like, even with stand-up, like, I see myself, you know, going out of state, you know, because I have been out of state before, but, like, you know, going out of state, doing shows like that, but my hub will always be Albuquerque. So it's like, this ain't no LeBron thing where, you know, I'm going to go ahead and pledge to Cleveland.
Jump
and then,
teams every 5
and then
years.
Go to Miami, back to Cleveland, go to LA, see how that is, and then do a tour around the world, whatever. Nah, I'm here and stuff like that. So it's the people are nice when they want to be. The city is nice when it wants to be. And 75 to 95%, it does, you know? Like, I'm a 6'4" black dude, and I walk down the street, and sometimes I forget I'm black because I'm just sitting there just diddy popping.
It's your city.
Yeah, I'm
You're
just like,
hanging out.
Yeah, I'm hanging out, and then I see a white couple just move out the way and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm a 6'4" black dude in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Like, I forget, but it's I'm able to live here. So,
And it's a very unique place.
Oh yeah,
very unique.
You have all sorts of people here. You have all sorts of people here that you wouldn't even think they'll be here. So, I mean, blacks, whites, natives, Asians, Hispanics, some Middle Eastern.
Right. There's a bunch of people. I love the UNM as well because we get a bunch of people out of state. I didn't know if you knew this, but we actually had. They just recently tore it down, but they had a ski team.
A ski team
in UNM for skiing, right? And they actually recruited people from Switzerland and Sweden and shit like that. So there were those people there.
Oh, because of like Red Rocks. Oh, not Red Rocks, Red River, right?
Yeah, Taos Ski Valley, Supapoo, Red River.
What, Supapoo?
Supapoo ski resort. Have you ever been there? Supapoo ski resort.
Supapoo.
And Supapoo actually is the native word for like a small hut. Like, so you would go into a small Supapoo to actually do like a ritual.
Supapoo. Oh, is it like those little huts that whenever you see in the movies, like they have like the wait, can I say this, medicine men?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll just make sure. The medicine men, like, you know, you're wrapped up and stuff, and like the smoke is inside of there and stuff, or like what's it called? Like I don't know why I can't think of the word right now. The dude. Shaman. Whenever you take like mushrooms or peyote or whatever, they're like are those types of huts?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Okay.
Supapoo is a Hopi word for a small hole or indention in the floor of a kiva or pit house. Kivas were used as an ancestral pueblo and continue to be used as modern Pueblinians, I think.
Okay.
It symbolizes a portal through which their ancient ancestors first emerged and entered this present world. A Supapoo. That blows me. Well, Native American culture in itself blows me away too. Mm-hmm. Like the whole, unfortunately they came and got lost it and stuff. But
okay, what are you?
Oh, there it is. There.
I've been wanting to ask, but
I think I'm Mexican. Because my dad is pretty Mexican, but he's like a native Mexican from Mexico City. So he has Aztec in him.
Okay.
So I have some kind of Indian Aztec in me, and my mom is Chicana.
Okay.
And she mostly has white and Mexican in her. So I have that mix of me. So I know I have some Indian aspect of me.
Yeah.
But it's not the Native American Indian. It's more of like the South American Indian tribes, like the Mayans or the Aztecs. If I don't know, I have to do like a fucking 23andMe, get something out there to find out what I am.
Don't do it. You don't need to. Just do a Dora the Explorer and just figure out your life.
Just go out there and do it.
Get you a backpack and a monkey named Boots.
That's funny to think about too.
I mean, that's what happens. That's what happened to Dora or her cousin Diego. They got a little animated stuff, and they just started figuring out things.
How do you feel about the whole live action shit that they're doing in life? They brought Lion King, they brought Aladdin, they brought Dora to life.
They doing Mulan.
That's our life, dude. That's our childhood. I go to those movies, and I'm just like, what am I watching here?
So here's the roughest thing about it. For like the Disney movies, no. But for like Marvel movies and superhero movies, yes. And that's honestly the same thing. Because if you really think about it, like a lot of the stuff that we've watched, or like we're kids, is being made into like, movies and stuff.
Yeah.
They're rebooting Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, even like the reboot, it was just like, I guess it was just like for us, because it was like, okay, let's see if they can make a Power Rangers
Are you
movie.
talking about the one with Bryan Cranston where he was Zordon?
No. Oh yeah. And then Bill Hader was Alpha 5.
Yeah, and it's they have so many fucking Krispy Kreme drops. It was so bad.
It wasn't great. And then
like, wow, you must have paid a lot of money for this Krispy Kreme.
And then the funny thing is, that's when Thor Ragnarok came out. I think Thor Ragnarok came around the same time. And whenever Thor Ragnarok came out, there was a beef between Elizabeth Banks and Kate Blanchett because their costumes were so similar.
Oh yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah,
they were the greenish kind of tint to it and stuff. Yeah, okay, so how can you get mad at that though? With the way, I mean, there's so much people that are thinking the same thing. Like, I have this little thing where I believe that so much people out there, there's 7 billion, 8 billion probably now.
Oh yeah.
The fact that there's so many people out there right now, we're thinking of something. There's probably a person out there that's thinking of that. Not only that, there's probably another person that probably did that. Not that they thought of it. They already did it.
Dude.
And probability says that it's possible.
Nah, dude, I don't even like to think about that. I like to think that,
we're not original.
I know for a fact that it is possible to not be the only one with the same thought. Have you ever seen Letterkenny yet?
No.
Okay. One of the earlier seasons of that, in one of the earlier episodes, they have this episode where they wanted to make a fart book. And it's like Facebook but for farts.
Okay.
But then it turns out like that idea was already been used by like so many other people already. They weren't original, if you will. So coming back to what we were talking about before, it's so weird that yes, we can come up with a thought. Maybe somebody else, not even watching this podcast, may have had the same thought.
Yeah. Or
maybe somebody had that same thought and already is trademarking that thought to make it into money.
Yeah.
Dude, yes, you are absolutely right. It's super possible. And it's scary as shit. It's scary as shit because you don't know. You want to be especially in stand-up, you want to be the most original person out there just because of the fact
very true, yeah.
Just because of the fact that if you're gonna be a cookie cutter, you can maybe fit you right over here. No, you need to be able to be okay, this is me, this is who I am as a person. So, and make them laugh, obviously, but yeah, just be the person that you want and feel that you should be.
Because, again, that's me getting into my own head and start blowing my mind. That stupid Oh man, because now you've seen Rick and Morty, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that in itself, again, like the possibility of multiple universes in itself, dude.
I think about that all the time.
Right now, there's a universe right now where me and you are switched. Where you're hosting this show.
I know, right?
There's a universe right now where you don't have glasses on. Just the littlest detail.
Yep.
It's different, and
that's what I love about comic books, because it's always like, multiple universes. But the movie, have you ever seen the movie The One with Jet Li?
I don't think so.
Perfect example. So Jet Li plays this dude, regular ass dude. His wife gets killed by like assassin or whatever. But then he finds out there's like a whole bunch of different timelines, a whole different parallel universes where there's like an evil one and he's killing off all the other ones so he could become stronger. But when he's killing off those ones, he's becoming stronger as well. So then he has to fight off against himself. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, like different parallel universe and shit, that shit's pretty cool too.
That's again a trip in itself, and it's one of those things too. Is like the more that time and life goes on, the more that they uncover this stuff, and it's just like, holy shit! Like, is it real? Because it's getting closer to it being real than it's not.
My main deal is, and I know this is Avengers Endgame game-ish, if you will, because I don't know if you've seen Endgame and the whole like time travel is like how many Steve Rogers were there, like, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So is this the timeline, the other timeline skips over? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the reason why I asked that is because if I was supposed to meet my future self, if I was supposed to do something with my future self, wouldn't I've already done it? Like, unless it hasn't happened already.
So that's somebody from the present going to the future.
No, somebody from the past. No, somebody from my future coming to their past, aka my present.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, let's say like a Rick and Morty portal just opened up right now, and me fucking look with a grizzled ass beard in one hand, but it's like fucking the other
cyborg
hand.
or something.
Yeah, some crazy shit. It's like, you have to come with me, and I'm just like, whoa, like, that's when I'll be able to be like, okay, I believe everything, because I'll be like, all right, that just happened, so cool, let's figure this out. But it hasn't happened. Which makes me think that either A, unfortunately, it may not happen in my lifetime, or B, this is the universe or timeline or dimension, whatever you want to call it, that the other dimensions, timelines don't want to go to.
Or they don't really, or it's the one that just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the one, like, there's so many multiples and so many infinities. This is the one that just doesn't do anything.
This is like normal. We're just chilling.
Yeah, the boring that doesn't discover.
There could be one where we're superheroes. There could be one where we're super villains. There could be one where we're fish. There could be one where we're centaurs.
Yeah.
There could be ones where I don't know why, but we're both running for Senate. There's just like...
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ones going on right now as we speak. Just as we speak, and we don't even know. Like, we don't have the technology right now to break that whole time, space, rift continuum thing and figure out all the other shit. But if we did, though, somebody would try to fuck it up.
Because, look at how much we barely understand about our human body.
That is true.
That in itself blows me away, too. Like, did you know Elon Musk is developing this thing called Neuralinks? You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So what it is the human trials actually start in 2020, so they're going to start here soon. It's a microchip. Goes implanted in the back of your ear.
Okay.
Has 1,000 hair-like follicles that go up inside of your brain, and they're going to touch different parts of your brain, which send them like electric charge, will stimulate different parts. What this is going to do, what's going to start off, is help people that have problems with maybe they're paralyzed or something, or they have like speech impediments and stuff like that. That's going to start to help them out. But this is actually going to be connected to an app, and the app is actually going to be able to give you data of what you need throughout the day. Like if you wanted to, they're planning on making it so you can have your roadmap in your head instead of looking it on the phone.
Not
something you would be into.
Not fucking with that. That's that Skynet shit. Nora, if you're out there, I'm gonna need you to listen to this real fast. I fucking hate robots. They scare me. Robots scare The fuck out of me.
So you're a little freaked out of the of technology doing that.
It could malfunction, short circuit. Like, do you know how many movies they've made? I know in this movies are just like fanatical or whatever, but you know how many movies they made about robots just something happening and then robots just taking over and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need that in my life. At least wait till I'm dead.
So what if it's the opposite though? What if it enlightens us and it makes us more in tune with life?
I honestly feel like I'm still a little offish. I'm like, once again, one of my favorite actors, Will Smith, and Robot. Like, he really didn't trust robots until he had to find that one to where it's like they've had a bonding, but still, just the fact of like a robot. Like AI is fucking creepy. Like Deuce, have you seen the movie Deus Ex Machina? Yeah, exactly. Like a robot being able to be so smart, so sophisticated, be able to just like pull off something like that. A fucking robot.
So you are, well, see, I feel like being too paranoid about that is what causes something like that.
You can't be too paranoid with robots. Ain't hell. Listen to Daddy Fresh. We're going to do an ASMR real fast about robots. Robots are not the greatest things out there. They suck. Roombas are cool. A Google Mini is cool, but robots suck. And so there you go. That was my little ASMR about robots.
Everybody got that.
Don't clap for that.
No, but you know what's crazy is that there are those people that really do feel that AI is going to do something bad. Like, would you drive the Tesla?
No, but my homeboy and my roommate J.O. Daniels did. J.O. He sent us a video. He was playing Cuphead.
Okay.
He was playing Cuphead in the car while the car drove for him.
Oh shit.
Yes, I've seen people roll actual blunts while the Tesla is just going through. I'm like, look.
That's amazing.
That's scary.
Well, okay. You don't think it'll ever be smart enough to do it? Okay, right now I get it because of other people.
Dude, look at the art system right now.
That's what I'm saying, because of other people. But I'd rather have computer talking to each other because they know what's going on.
And then honestly, unless you have a human at the helm, computers can fail. Computers can fail. I mean, look at... Like anytime an outage goes out, like let's say somebody like force of nature, you know, like a thunderbolt, and hits a generator, all power goes out, so power goes out, like breaks a whole circuit grid. Like let's say all these cars were connected by computers, sure they can do like a automotive, like a manual system or whatever, but at the same time, some people might get lazy. Some people forget. And so then you got a whole bunch of people who just forgot shit and then just driving. But then again, I think you would still have to have a license to be able to have one of those cars.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Because what would happen in that type of situation? You still would need to you still need to be able to know how to drive a car.
I honestly think the future is that nobody will have a car anymore. So, all cars will be robotic. So everything will pretty much be Uber. But you can actually pick the car you want to pick you up. And then it just takes you to your destination, drops you off, and that's it.
I'm just ready for teleporters, dude.
That's weird in itself, too.
That's weird. Once again, that's time space. Because you're ripping, especially like that instant, like whatever, like once again, we go back to Rick and Morty, like the portal gun, like you're ripping through like actual space, time, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because like even if we don't see it right in front of us, there's hundreds of atoms and molecules right in front of us right now,
bouncing right off the fuck off of us, just doing crazy shit
right now. Just even interacting with our breath, interacting with our movements, getting added more. All that shit's going on. So I see what you're saying. Where it just you can manipulate that. But here's another thing too. If in the core value of everything, we all pretty much start off with a neutron, an atom, a proton, basic everything though. This cloth,
the microphone, Everything.
So what's to say that we won't figure out a way to rearrange that in the future?
It's not not probable. I mean, no. I'm not saying the right words. It's not impossible. It's not impossible because, I mean, honestly, it's a modern day alchemy. You're trying to take one thing and turn it into another thing. That was alchemy back in the day. You're trying to turn iron to gold by just rearranging the molecules to be able to make it into something else. Who's to say that we can't do that now?
See, and that's going back to the government conspiracy things.
I'm still not fucking with robots though, dude.
What if the government already has really, really good robots, but they only show us like basic stuff that they have? Because they say that they do that anyways, right?
That's some fucked up shit that you put in my head, dude.
They do that all the time.
I don't want to know, like, if I'm just okay, there's this game on the PlayStation 4 called Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like, you know, the robots are interacting with the humans and stuff, like, you know, but it's still just the fact of like people know that they're actually robots. Like I don't see, and that's kind of fucked up. Like that's kind of fucked up. It's kind of like how we are today in society. It's like if somebody has to, like, you know, mask who they are, you know. That's like me and like a robot almost, like, you know, going through this fake identity, you know. So yeah, that shit would be scary. Like, I don't know. That shit's scary, dude.
I like how you try not to get into indulge in creepy shit like that.
I try not to because, like, honestly, I think about that shit almost all the time. So I try. There's little spurts in my life that I try not to think about, like robots masquerading as human beings, right, or just like whatever. So yeah, yeah. I do get into a little bit of depth about that.
Because I don't know. When I was younger, I went into a big old conspiracy phase where I honestly thought the government was out to get all of us and we're being controlled and manipulated. But the older I get, they'll just like, even if they are, fuck it. I mean, what can I do? They've already established such a good system already.
They already got my social security number. It's okay.
And they already did it all, man. Yeah. Especially the way people freak out, like, oh, the government's watching you and stuff. Yeah, they've probably been watching us for years, dude.
For fucking years.
We've had the phones forever now, dude. We literally stare at our phones at more than we do at other things.
And then another thing, too, is just like, I mean, we got cameras on our phones. So, I mean, like, I know some people are like, oh, I tape my camera. Or
their laptop and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, like.
You know what's funny, though, is when people notice big famous people doing that. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but there was a thing where Mark Zuckerberg, every time you saw his laptop in the background, it had tape on the camera.
Yeah, but Mark Zuckerberg, shout out to Zuck, but you an alien, dude. Mark Zuckerberg is an alien. Like, I said it, well, don't come to Angel's house, but come to my house.
Don't come to New Mexico.
Yeah,
we already deal with a lot of aliens here.
I know, right? So, I mean, bro, we can throw hands if you want, but thank you for letting me contact like my friends and family out of state. But dude, you fucking weird.
Is it those interviews that freaked you out when you had to go up to Congress and shit? One sip of water.
Yeah, that's a lizard thing, dude. That's a little thing. As a matter of fact, somebody the other day, I knew this was like a fake thing. Some dude sent me a friend request, and I looked at it. He's like, "Thank you for joining the Illuminati." I was like, "Nope."
It's just as bad, right?
I'm like, no, I don't need that in my life.
That's what's crazy though too. Now is like, again, when I was younger, the Illuminati was more scary, and now it's like, oh, hey, it's a cool club, everybody. Yeah. Illuminati. It's
like with like Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah, and the way they make it seem like.
Have you seen the Lucas Brothers? Lucas Brothers.
I have seen some of their stuff, but I haven't. Like, was something specific? Are you trying to?
The Lucas Brothers moving company is on Hulu.
Okay.
And so I think it's just like 2 seasons. Like, you know, they have like a lot of like 90s tropes and stuff. One of them is that Beyonce and Jay-Z are actually lizard people who are part of the Illuminati, and it's like a full deal. It's like they want to gain energy so they can harness the sun, so they can burn a random spot. It's like something weird or whatever, but yeah, like that's like a full episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might want to check that out. So
that's so weird too. How people think that there are lizard people among us that are shapeshifters.
Well, I mean, Josh Fournier, you know Josh. Shout out to Josh Fournier. What's it called? Always talking about like skinwalkers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, there is a whole group of people who believe that. So I'm like,
and I asked him too. I was like, there's actually a difference. The skinwalkers are actually like almost like us, but they can shapeshift compared to, he said, white people's interpretation of skinwalkers, which are reptilians. They call that's what white people call shapeshifters, are reptilians, and they feel that they're the ones that are in control of major corporations and stuff in the government. Fucking Donald Trump, all those are reptilian form people, and they're not even like high class reptilians. They're more of like they're
like a low mid. They're not. Are they like a mid boss? Is it like a midway point boss?
Yeah.
Like you fought this boss to be able to get the thing that you wanted to get.
But that he's not the actual final boss of the whole game.
Okay.
Because there's some crazy shit in that sense too. I saw a video a long time ago about this Zulu shaman, and he was talking about like reptilians. They call him the Chitawuri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was just mind blowing because like is this white guy who talks about reptilians and stuff, and he's like, I'm actually gonna go out and see if I can find somebody that can relate to the stuff I'm talking about, and he goes and talks to a Zulu shaman, and he's talking the same stories, and that's kind of what we talked about a little while ago, is where all these stories of religion and stuff are all just brought in from different places and all kind of the same thing.
They all really, like, once again, a lot of them have like morals or like, you know, like a belief system, not a belief system, but like a learning lesson, if you will. Shoot, what was I going to say?
But they're all similar.
And it's crazy and it's weird, but I accept that. Just because that's just what it is.
I mean, what can you say, right?
You can't really talk to somebody and talk shit about somebody and how they believe something if you don't have any proof yourself. You know, you can't really do that.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, the Moses story is completely true. But then there are other accounts in history where they talk about a great flood and stuff too. So where in that sense is there the truth besides the moral value? Because again, if I get it out of the story, it's like help your neighbor, you're trying to survive, and we're all trying to be one person.
Yeah.
And then where I guess the separation thing again, where there's like, well, my story tells this different. It's like I hear the same damn thing. I don't know what you're telling me, but
it's just like more or less what's the moral.
Yeah. That's some good little history rant right there.
I know, right?
Again, this is what it is. Just fucking bullshitting on this podcast. Talk about random shit.
Right.
Whatever I find.
Oh, I remember what I was supposed to say before, because we went for the comedy tip. Yeah, a lot of times it's about the promotion. Like the other groups I've been on since, like Albuquerque is getting bigger for like film, media, stuff like that, Netflix, NBC, Universal. I try, even though I may not be doing a lot of like film stuff, I try to keep my eyes and ears to the streets of like what that is, like, you know, what's going on. So I'm a part of several of those groups on Facebook, and then whenever I'm like sharing my events to those different groups, it's not for them to be like, oh, hey, let's get our next star or whatever. Like, you know, it has happened before where, like, you know, famous people have come into the open mics and everything. Not even the ones that I haven't hosted before, but so just the fact of like, okay, a lot of these actors, actresses, crew members, stuff like that, they may have rapped a day, but they don't want to just go back to the hotel room. They just want something to do.
And you can tell when you see something like that too, is like, I mean, there's a bunch of like comedic actors that are just like, I like going to open mic. What open mic is in this state? What open mic happens in this town? And then that particular day, it's one that you host or one they happen to come in. And that's what I love about it too. Is like I've like the ski. Where I was telling you about UNM and their ski team. I met that guy at an open mic. He liked one of my jokes, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Because he had this Swedish accent and stuff. And he told me the whole story where it's like, "Oh, we're from UNM, but they're actually stopping that team but they recruit people from Switzerland and stuff. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Yeah. I never would have thought I would have met somebody like that because of comedy.
Right. Oh, you meet the most craziest people, but at the same time, like, you gain so much experience. You gain, like, you blaze your own trail. You make your own story.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about, like, you know, with comedy. You're making your own story. So, because there's a lot. I've met so many interesting characters just doing comedy. Not just, like, you know, actual comics themselves, but, like, the people that are with them, you know, so... Or, like, people that you just may be out and about doing a show, you know, or traveling.
Yeah. So
you meet a lot of people. You make a lot of friendships. This is what it is.
That's what's up.
But, yeah, I would honestly suggest anybody doing shows on a social media tip, just look at what's in your city. Look what's popular in your city and try to get at least your foot in the door, wedging in, being like, oh, hey, you know, just inviting somebody out to somewhere, because you never know. You might get a fan. You might get a connection to something that might be very prosperous for you. So profitable.
Prosperous.
Yeah. I like to make I thought I was trying to say positive. Either way, it's gonna be good for you. So, yeah.
That's good advice. And you never know what you're gonna see out there.
Mm-hmm. Like we have a battle rap league out here, UBR. What's it called? We have like the art fights, like the DJ battles, the cook-offs and stuff like that. There is so much stuff here, and that's honestly another reason why I love staying in New Mexico, Albuquerque in general, just because there's culture here. There's so much culture here. There's like rock bands and like country bands. It's like a lot of my friends do a lot of this stuff. So I mean, sometimes it gets hard to be able to try to support them all at the same time, but it's like they are working their asses off. So there's a lot of stuff going on out here. You know, you do stuff like more than just a stand-up tip. Aren't you in a band too?
I was. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of streaming online. Like I stream on Twitch.
Okay.
So I do a lot of guitar streaming on Twitch. I used to play in a band a while ago, but there was a tragic falling, and actually one of the bandmates actually passed away.
Oh no.
So it was pretty tragic. But I mean, we still jam and stuff times. I mean, I would love to get a band going again. Find some people that I'm comfortable jamming with and stuff. But I mean, besides of what I do, I mean, it's just a bunch of like, I do this. I'm always streaming online, and the stupid 9 to 5, obviously. Yeah. That's the worst. I mean, the hardest part about living, or the greatest part about living in this country, is that you can always work for yourself to be a better person, but yet that's a lot of time to work to be that better person. Like, I mean, I wish I can actually spend more time being an entertainer, but I can't, because I have to financially make sure I'm stable. And I guess I kind of wasted my time a little bit too, because some people say you should start it when you're younger, or being able to do it at a younger age.
Nah, honestly, you got to do it when you're comfortable. Like, you may have not been comfortable when you were younger. Yeah. And yeah, like, especially with stand-up, it's like more or less, it's like you got to be comfortable with yourself. If you're comfortable with yourself on stage, the audience will be comfortable too. Not like comfortable like whipping your dick out and shit. But
in some sense, maybe. I don't. Have you ever heard of Kill Tony? Do you know?
Oh yeah.
That's my shit, bro. I'm gonna fucking kill Joel Jimenez in that Mexican drum off.
Okay.
I'll show my dick too. I don't give a fuck. He does it all the time.
Whoa, fuck.
Oh, man. So he has this thing called the Mexican drum off, right? And every time a comedian goes up and they start doing the interviews, they're like, oh, so what else do you do? And he's like, oh, well, I drum. And then all of a sudden, it's time to do the Mexican drum off. And the comedian doing the 1 minute has a chance to go up there and try to outdo Joelberg.
Okay.
And nobody ever does it. They only do something like something simple and stuff. And I'm like, Tony even says, like, you can be flamboyant.
Yeah.
use the stage, be crowd, do all kinds of stuff. And all I'm thinking is like, what the fuck, man? I'm getting naked. I'm literally going to put a sock on my dick, and I'm going to play drums like the best I can. And not only that, get the crowd into it and do more. Because I feel like, oh man, I'm going to kick ass if I were ever to do that. Because I'm actually a really good musician. Like I've been playing for a really long time.
Yeah, you told me you was playing guitar for like 12 years.
12 years. I've been drumming on the drums for like 6. I fuck around on the bass. I could play the keyboard. So I got a lot of numerous musical talents. And that's why I love transitioning to comedy, because there's been so many times where I was on stage just just playing a chord and just be like, shut the fuck up, everybody, we're about to start. You know, just random funny stuff to get the crowd going.
Okay.
So it's uplifting to know that it's kind of the same sense, but not really. Like it's stage presence and stuff is there, but you literally can play a show every night if you do comedy right. Because, you know, you have all those open mics that you have to practice at, and then the weekends you're just constantly doing shows. Where in a band sense, you practice in a secluded area with your bandmates to play maybe 2 shows a month, maybe at the most. And that's the different points, because I love how Josh kind of pointed this out too, where he said, when you play a song, people instantly love that song and they'll love it forever.
Right.
But if you're a comedian, you have one good joke, you better come up with another good one, because that joke isn't going to last forever.
Right.
And that makes sense, because there's 2 different segues right there.
Now, like when you're starting out doing stand-up, like, I mean, I know there's some jokes I still tell from when I first started out, but I know for a fact that those jokes will still hit. Now, it's like one of those situations to where it's like, all right, a lot of comics like to brain dump it and do like albums or whatnot, and then after they got the album out, I reversed that. They do the album, they do like the hour and a half, whatever. After they do that, they brain dump it and work on all new stuff. I did an hour. There's been times where I've like thought I've only done like 30 minutes, but I end up doing like 45, 50 over at like Red Velvet. This Kevin Kenny was just like, just let him go. And so, but the main thing is like always trying to be original, always staying ahead of the curve. Now, I don't really like to do a lot of topical jokes, but if it's a situation that I feel that I could work into my jokes, then it will just work, you know? So that's my main deal. So it's like making sure that things work wherever I tell jokes at. Like back to what we were talking about before, like my jokes being relatable to like black, white, young, old, gay, lesbian, whatever, straight, religious, not religious. Like I want my jokes to be able to hit wherever I go. So yes, there are those ones that you keep in the pocket, but then there's those ones that you know for a fact that like you take out of state, you know. So because I know for a fact a lot of y'all probably heard all my jokes. That's the reason why whenever I'm hosting, I don't like to tell a lot of my jokes unless it's like maybe a newer audience or something like that. Because granted, yes, at the open mics it's mainly us. So we're trying our jokes with not maybe a couple of audience members, whatever the case may be. But I love to be able to just facilitate the show, to keep the show going and whatnot. They don't need to hear my jokes. You don't need to hear my stuff. You've already heard my stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my main deal is making sure that, you know, you guys have the opportunity and time on stage to be able to practice your jokes, to be better comedians, to where that if one of us blows up, becomes that next HBO star, Netflix, if I was able to help them out in any way, shape, or form, I'm cool with that. What it is. So, but yeah, it's still just making sure. Oh, I got too high before this. Just making sure that you're always working. Make sure you're always writing. You know, and if you can't write about anything, that's not a bad thing. You just live life. Just get your brain jogging, you know, just enjoy life. There have been times where it's like I've been on mental blocks, and then like I was like, all right, I'll come back to it later. I'm doing something, maybe like an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe even a day later. Then I'm like, Oh, okay. And then boom, 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 write it down.
Yeah.
Work it out. So
that tunnel vision, right? Just trying to block it off. And that's why they say having those or multiple outlets of doing different things help. Like if maybe you're stuck on a joke or whatever, go for a run or just do something different so that when you come back or try something different, it all pays itself.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's the same way I am with video games and stuff. Like if I'm sitting there, if I'm sitting there playing a game and I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or I'm getting frustrated, I stop playing that game and I go to another game. And then like the other game, I was probably frustrated at that point, but I came back to the game. I'm like, oh, okay, I could play this or do this. And then just going back and forth. So yeah, that honestly works out with especially with stand-up comedy, just because you want to be able to figure out like a good punchline, a good tagline, a good callback, if you will. But if you just can't get it, you can't just sit there and just keep beating yourself up. You just be like, oh, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. Let me figure this out. Let me take some time off of it, revisit it, see if anything else springs up from that.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, because honestly, I also write. I don't rap professionally, but I have some stuff written down, and so for me, it's that's like a hobby for me. I like doing that just because I don't ever see myself doing that. But it's just funny to see what I could come up with. But that's one of my, distract myself, figure out what's going to go on with like a joke or something. So I can totally get what you're saying.
Nice. Well, that was fun. We already hit the 1.5 hour mark.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It felt like at least an hour.
Bronx Sushi, it's not that we're ignoring you, we're having a conversation. This is what the point of the podcast is. Thank you guys for joining. We had a couple people in and out talking and stuff. But Royal, let everybody know where they can find you, what they can get, what to expect coming from you in the next couple weeks, few months coming up.
All right, so this is going to be the long one. First of all, I run a couple of open mics in town. First one is Blue Grasshopper Smooth Sundays. Sign up around 7:30. Shows around 8:30. Also Mondays I have Founders Idiot Revolution to host that with Holly Bird. Sign up for that is at 8. Shows around 9. That's Founders right over by the Hangar downtown, right by El Rey. Check on Facebook for the password because it's a little bit of speakeasy, so you got to know the password. On Tuesdays, normally, I also host the Raw and Sauce Comedy Nights over at Raw and Sauce Ultra Lounge on Montgomery Boulevard. But this Tuesday, there's going to be a special showcase that I'm going to be featured in over at the Homie Hangout on O'Neill's. That's going to be featuring AJ Martinez and my good boy Greg Jomick. I'm so excited for him to come back. He said that he has a hot 10 and from because he's been out in Austin and everything. So, and then on this Wednesday, we normally have our Casual Wednesday open mic over at Red Door. But me and the boys, Nick Starr and Kevin Baca, we're going to be over at the Chili Lime Brewery in Santa Fe. That show's going to be around 8 o'clock. So free show. Don't want to miss out on that. Then I'm just chilling until this upcoming Saturday. I am in a show over at Sidewinders, featuring Lilith Stargazer, a dope ass burlesque artist, nice. Hosted by Mary Bird. You can get your tickets online from that. Other than that, the shows, just FYI, anybody from the comedy scene listening, just be wary of, just be on the Albuquerque stand-up fans or the New Mexico comedians page to make sure about the shows and whatnot. The holiday season is coming up, so we just want to make sure that y'all are in the know.
Yeah, what's going on.
And then also right now we're doing a hiatus on the Royals Comedy Palace. We're going to kick that back up in January, so stay in tune for that. Other than that, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. My Instagram is Captain Crazy Glue, no E. Same for my Twitter, Captain Crazy Glue, no E. Snapchat, I don't even use it, but it's Alberto with Dario. I guess that's what it is. Oh, and if you're on the PlayStation Network, my user tag is TreyGansCCG. So that's capital TREY, capital GANZCCG. So just I'm always on like Dauntless or like some Star Ocean. So just shoot me a message, whatever.
Doing something.
Yeah, I really want to get back on Onrush, but that's another story. But yeah,
that's our fun of the day.
We didn't even get into the Pokemon thing,
dude. You got to come back.
Yeah, I do got to come back. You've been dope, dude.
Thank you for coming, Royal.
Episode 67?
This is episode 66.
Ooh, 66. Oh,
66.
Like Order 66? No, I'm slaying them.
Dude, I can't wait to see who's going to be episode 69.
Oh, boy.
That's what I'm waiting for, so that should be funny.
That's what's up. Thanks once again for having me on.
No problem, man. I'm glad you're here.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.